to Sports Today. Now, we bring you this video segment every morning to help you catch up with things that have been taking place in the world of sport whilst you were catching up on some all important rest. Because whilst all of us really might need some sleep, the world of sport is something that doesn't sleep a lot. There's always something or the other going on, and it can be a little tough to keep a track of every little thing that takes place. But worry not, that's what we're here for, and we're going to catch you up with some interesting developments in the world of sport. Starting off with, let's say, ticket prices for the marquee fixture of the T20 World Cup group stages, which is between India and Pakistan. Now, of course, India-Pakistan matches always generate plenty of hype, plenty of excitement. But the two matches that India will be playing first up in the T20 World Cup, which is up against, if I'm not mistaken, Canada and then Pakistan, well, both of them have been sold out as far as the tickets from the which the ICC put on sale are concerned. But now those tickets are resurfacing on reselling platforms that are pretty prevalent in the US. You've heard of places like StubHub and the likes, places that will buy tickets in bulk and then resell them at higher prices. And these India Pakistan tickets are actually surfacing on a lot of these websites, and some of the prices are pretty staggering. Whilst these are the more expensive of the tickets, if you're buying them from the ICC, would cost in a few thousands. Now the ones that are going up to, they're either going up to 5 figures, 6 figures. Some of the more expensive tickets are going even as far as over a crore. So that's over 1 crore for the single match, which is India versus Pakistan, which shows two things. One is that there's obviously a lot of demand for tickets for such a match, but more concerningly, the kind of figures that are put out in these reselling platforms, they are absolutely out of control. 1 crore for a ticket, a cricket match. I mean, I don't understand the price being set that high. But whether or not someone pays that is a different matter. The fact is that they felt it was valuable enough to be priced at that sort of a price, that they actually went and put that price and slapped that price tag on the ticket. 1 crore for a cricket match. Wow. I'd really be interested to see if that ticket actually does sell. But hey, stranger things have happened. More cricket news, and there's been plenty of talk, let's say, about Shreyas Iyer and Ishan Kishan, and the fact that both of them were snubbed from the central contract list by the BCCI because they were seen as prioritizing the IPL over domestic and international cricket. Now, obviously, there's been a lot said about both of them for plenty of quarters, and the latest to weigh in with an opinion on the two of them is Praveen Kumar, the former India pacer. He had some simple advice for the two of them. He said that, look, you should always look to earn money. There's nothing wrong with that, but not at the cost of deprioritizing international cricket as well as domestic cricket. He said there's nothing wrong with the IPL and its riches. By all means, look to make your money from there, but do not deprioritize domestic cricket and certainly not international cricket. I think it's a pretty sane message that has really shown through, because whilst a lot of people who have been anti-Iyer and Kishan have been talking about why it is that they are prioritizing money, and it's an argument I've never understood, because at the end of the day, whatever job it is in the world you may do, whether it be a regular job, whether it be something that is a passion based, such as playing a sport, at the end of the day, the money does matter. You're not just playing for passion. So there's nothing wrong with chasing money. But as Praveen Kumar rightly points out, he's saying chase the money, no problem, earn that money, but do not deprioritize the international game, which is, I'd say, a pretty fair statement. Now, switching our focus to the WPL, to domestic cricket, incidentally, which we'll be getting to also later on. The WPL saw a pretty interesting match between the Royal Challengers Bangalore and the UP Warriors take place that ended actually the Bangalore leg of the tournament. Now, Bangalore ended it, they ensured they ended it on a high by registering a pretty comprehensive win over the UP Warriors. Smriti Mandana was the man of the match. She scored about an 80 of 50 balls, so definitely a very good knock from her. And of course, Elise Perry also starred to the point where she actually ended up hitting a six that ended up breaking the car windshield, the car incidentally that is put there for the player of the tournament. So she ended up breaking a windshield, and that was a pretty hilarious moment in its own right. But what was no laughing matter was the dominance with which RCB sealed their win. Right now, still very much in contention for a spot in the playoffs, the Royals Challengers. Now, what will matter is how it is that the teams fare in the next leg, which is of course going to be held exclusively in New Delhi. And as I said, domestic cricket, there's a bit of news there, and there does seem to be a little bit of a civil war, let's say, taking place in Tamil Nadu cricket. Now, of course, Tamil Nadu ended up, losing out in the semi-final of the Ranji Trophy to Mumbai, and their coach Sulakshan Kulkarni has now come out and pretty much thrown captain has shown Sai Kishore, sorry, not Sai Sudarshan, Sai Kishore under the bus by saying that the moment we lost that semi-final was when the captain took the decision to bat first on what was a seeming friendly track. He said very clearly that, look, I knew that it was going to be a seeming friendly track. I put that idea inside Kishore's head, but he's the boss. He's the one who makes the final decision, and it wasn't the right decision. That's basically what he's tried to imply multiple times, and it's definitely an interesting hill to die on, let's say, because again, personally, whilst you can say in hindsight that Sai Kishore did make the wrong decision, the better thing to do would have been to have this discussion in private rather than so publicly throw the player under the bus. And Sai Kishore has generally done a good job for captaincy this year when it comes to Tamil Nadu. And it's a bit unfortunate that for something like this, he had to be thrown under the bus the way he was. I think it's a bit of an unfair statement. And whilst the point he makes, the coach makes is a valid one, again, as I said, something that perhaps could have been handled behind the scenes would have maybe made a little bit more sense than handling it this way, the way that they did. Switching our focus now on sports to the world of football, and Arsenal registered a pretty big, comprehensive, let's say, victory over Sheffield United. It was 6-0, of which 5 goals were scored in the first half. The result means now that Arsenal are in third place on paper, but the Premier League title race is very, very close and is a three-horse race still, because whilst Liverpool are on top, they have 63 points, City are behind, they have 62 points, and Arsenal right now have 61 points. So it's very, very, very close. It's basically all of the top 3 teams are separated by a point, and that is making for a pretty exciting Premier League title race this time around. To a league, on the other hand, that aren't having an exciting title race, Serie A in Italy, and the one reason for that is that every other team that should be challenging for the league are dropping points like flies. The one team that aren't dropping any points are the league leaders Inter Milan, because they ended up registering a 2-1 win over Genoa that takes them 15 points clear at the top of the table. 15 points. That is as one-sided a league as can be right now, but that takes nothing away from Inter. They've done really, really well to ensure that they can be in that sort of a position. So I'll take nothing away from them. They have been clinical. They have been consistent. The other teams, on the other hand, have been anything but that. So it's really unfortunate you're not getting much of a title race there, but it is what it is. Now, switching our focus now, tennis news and some good news if you're an Indian tennis fan. Sumit Nagal ended up making it through the first round of the qualifiers at the Indian Wells Masters tournament. He beat Stefan Dostanic in straight sets, so it was 6-2, 6-2. Didn't really break much of a sweat, did Sumit, and he's now entered the final round of qualifying, in which he'll be taking on South Korea's Hong Seong-chan, and that match will be taking place later tonight, in fact at 11:30 at night to be specific. If he wins this match, then he's through to the main draw of Indian Wells. Now, Indian Wells, of course, is one of those Masters events. Now, if in case you're wondering how it works in tennis, Masters events are literally just a rung below Grand Slam. So the amount of ranking points and prize money that you get for these, very, very high. So in fact, if he can even make it as far as the second round, third round, he'll get a good boost in ranking points, and also, of course, a nice little boost when it comes to prize money. Last bit of news, and it's an interesting one from the world of Formula One. The FIA, the governing body that governs Formula One, the president, Mohammed bin Sulayem, well, he's under an investigation for allegedly interfering in the result of a race. Now, in case you're wondering which race it was the 2023 Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, in which Fernando Alonso, you'd remember, was first handed a penalty, a 5-second penalty, then later handed a 10-second penalty, and then when that 10-second penalty was upheld, he had dropped out of the podium positions, where it was later overturned, which meant his podium was reinstated. It was a whole lot of hullabaloo and a lot of controversy created at that time. And why this is important is because Ben Sulayem has reportedly been, or did at that time reportedly intervene and tell the stewards to take the penalty away from Fernando Alonso. Now, again, Ben Sulayem is well within his rights to have an opinion on such matters, but whether or not he can intervene and tell the stewards how to do their jobs, that does construe as an interference of sorts, and it's not something that should be taken lightly. He's under investigation. There have been no comments made from him or the FIA as of yet, but it is the latest in a long line of blunders that the FIA have been making, and that includes unilaterally starting the process to include an 11th team in the Formula One championships, whilst Formula One themselves weren't keen, and thus blocked the 11th team, which was, of course, Andretti Cadillac. They also started an investigation in fact, against Toto Wolff's wife, Susie Wolff. Toto Wolff, in case you're wondering, the Mercedes team principal. His wife, Susie Wolff, currently runs F1 Academy, which is F1's female-only driver series. They had started a conflict of interest investigation against her that was dropped when all teams said that they were not in support of it. And so there's been a lot of missteps happening at the FIA, this one being the latest. Does this mean that Ben Sulayem would too have to step down? Because again, interfering in a race result is a big accusation. Whether or not that happens, well, you'll get to know here first at Sports Day. For now, though, I'm taking your leave. Thank you guys so much for joining us. If you enjoy our work, please don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon, leave us a comment as well. Follow us also on social media. We're on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Don't forget to download the SportsTech app, and if you're already on the channel, go ahead, check out some other videos we've done, and stay tuned. Plenty more coming your way. For now, from my side, it's goodbye.